Okay, back to where we left off, the mitzvah of davening, Shmoneh Esrei. So he said the best time l'chatchila to daven Shmoneh Esrei is after Netzach Hama, after sunrise. B'diavad, somebody's very rushed, they could do it after Aleisa Shachar, after Amidah Shachar. And we said l'chatchila according to Halachos, you shouldn't daven after a third of the day, meaning 4 halachic hours into the day. But the prayer, like we said in the Chassidish world, they're more lenient as long as they start and finish, preferably finish Shmoneh Esrei by midday. Even though some people want to daven Shachris, Mincha, Ma'ariv together, so they'll daven Shachris very late, that they can daven Mincha right after Shachris. That's against Halacha, against Chassidus, against everything that Judaism stands for. Okay, right before Shmoneh Esrei, we say Tehillah L'Kel Elyon Goyal Baruch U'Maveirach. At that point, that's the place you're supposed to stand up already for Shmoneh Esrei. Like when you see in the morning, where do you stand up for Shmoneh Esrei? When you say Tehillah L'Kel Elyon Goyal, it says in Halacha, that's where you're supposed to stand up. You're supposed to get rid of all your spit and phlegm and, get ready to daven mentally. You take 3 steps back. Now the way you go back with your left foot first, and then your right foot, and then going frontward to Shmoneh Esrei, to Amidah, you go with your right foot first. And then you put your feet together, that you should look like angels, which are completely one and bittul, and so on and so forth. Now another very important thing is that you're not allowed to make a stop, you're not allowed to make a hefsek between Goal Yisrael and the Amidah. You're not allowed to say no Amen Yishmei Rabba, nothing. Once somebody says Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael, they're not allowed to answer anything at all. Therefore, the Halacha says, it's even brought down in the Siddur, in the Siddur with the instructions, that the preferable thing is to finish Goal Yisrael with the Chazan together. Because then when you say Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael with the Chazan, for sure you can't answer Amen, because then you're answering Amen on your own bracha, which you're not allowed to. But you're not allowed to do anything, not Kedusha, not Kaddish, not Baruch Hu, nothing. Okay. Ma'ariv is also, in other words, like this. There's a concept in Halacha that's called Mismach Geula L'Tfilah. You have to put Geula next to Tfilah. So Shachris, ya Baruch Atah Hashem Goal Yisrael. In fact, the Gemara asks, why do we say Hashem Sfasei Tifta Chofi Yageti Losecha? That's also separate. It's not part of the Amidah. It's a preface to the Amidah. We say Hashem should open up my lips and open up my Hashem Sfasei Chofi Yageti Losecha. My mouth should tell you praises. So the Gemara asks, L'chaydo, why isn't that a hefsek? And the Gemara said that became actually part of the Shmoneh Esrei. By Ma'ariv, you're also supposed to have Geula next to Tefillah. So the Gemara asks, why do we say Hashkivenu, which is a whole paragraph over there between Goal Yisrael and the Amidah, and the Gemara says Shmira has to do with Mashiach and guarding and preparing and all that, so it's not considered a hefsek. What?
The bracha right before Shema, I would say quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet. And that's because so nobody should answer Amen.
No, the reason why we do it quietly is because there's an argument if you say Amen after that bracha Eiv Am Yisrael. So because there's an argument whether you should say Amen after Habecher Am Yisrael B'Yahava or not, so the Chazan, by not saying it loud, so automatically you don't hear it, so you can't answer Amen only. So it's good according to all opinions. When the Rebbe first wrote this, the Rebbe wrote about Habecher Am Yisrael B'Yahava. And the Shulchan, Rabbi Avram Chaim Noah wrote to the Rebbe that the same thing should be by Ma'ariv with Eiv Am Yisrael, and the Rebbe said 100%. That you also don't answer Amen, therefore the minig is that the Chazan says it quietly, because then you don't answer Amen. Or, let's say you're in a shul, that it's not a Chabad shul, let's say, and they're doing it loud, like most shuls do. So the best thing would be to make sure to finish the bracha Eiv Am Yisrael together with the Chazan. Because then there's definitely a din that when you finish a bracha together with the Chazan, you're not allowed to answer Amen on your own bracha either. So therefore, if you say Eiv Am Yisrael together with the Chazan, you also don't have the problem. Okay, when a person davens They have to appear to them that the Shechina is standing opposite them. Because it says, Shivchi kamayim libeich, my heart will be spilled like water, nechach pnei Hashem, opposite the face of Hashem. So when a person is davening, actually you're facing Hashem directly. Therefore, they have to, when they daven, they have to, number one, know what, mean what they say. First, you have to know what you're saying. Secondly, you need to mean what you say, because you can imagine if you're in front of a king, a physical king, and you want to ask him for a request. You definitely organize your thoughts, organize your words. You know exactly what to be saying, and say it properly with a lot of kavanah. So how much more so in the presence of Hashem Himself, Melech Malchei Amlochim, that He sees our thoughts and He sees our action and everything. No tachna today, sir. So therefore, you have to just think about the greatness of Hashem and the lowness of man. Okay. Next, it says like this: a person who davens has to know what the words mean. You have to know what the words mean. And they quote the pasuk. It says, "Tochen libam hatakshiv eznacha." Prepare your heart to listen what your ears hear. Meaning, you have to know what you're saying. So therefore, a lot of Siddurim, here you're talking about in Europe, they would have Siddurim with German translation, because that was the common language in those countries. He spoke a lot of German. Or a person should have an English siddur, whatever, they should know what the words mean and think so. He says, what happens if you don't have a siddur, you don't know what the words mean? So what do? He said you should think things that subdue the heart, and have kavanah for Hashem. In other words, you tell basically Hashem, you know what? Whatever I'm supposed to be davening, whatever I'm supposed to think, consider it thought. That as if I thought it, and you do the rest. Now, what happens, this is a big problem, because Shulchan Aruch says like this: what happens if a foreign thought comes into you in the middle of davening? So then it says you wait until the foreign thought leaves, and then you continue davening. The problem with that is, in a practical sense, everybody Shemoneh Esrei will take about 5 hours. It's a little bit too long. So it doesn't help anyway. So, like the Baal Shem Tov said, you repeat the Shemoneh Esrei, it's not going to help you anyway. Okay, now also, we put our feet together by the Shemoneh Esrei, by the Amidah. Why do you put your feet together? Simple is because we want to liken ourselves to angels. And by angels, it says, Ragleihem Regel Yeshara. The Pasuk in Nach says, the feet of the angels is a straight foot. Meaning it looks like one foot. Obviously, angels don't have feet. But you should bend your head down a little bit, not to look into anything. You should daven from a siddur. You should look out of the siddur. You should daven with awe and fear. You should daven properly, whatever language it is. One thing is for sure: you can't mix different nuschois. In other words, like this: there's a lot of texts of davening. There's Ashkenaz and Sfard and Chabad and this Sfard and that Sfard, and there's a lot of different nuschois of tefillah. Each one is holy. Each one has an exact amount of words that text has, corresponding with different things that they're representing. There's an exact amount of words of davening. There's an exact amount of words in Kaddish, exact amount of words in Baruch Shabbat. B'chlal, davening has an exact amount of words. You're going to start mixing Ashkenaz with Chabad or Sfard with you're mixing up, you're messing everything up, because then you don't even have the proper amount of words per nusach. Okay, then there's a whole issue over here.
Rabbi,
What?
let's say you're in a place where you're davening for like 6 or 7 days in a row in an Ashkenaz meeting, but you daven from your siddur. Except you answer a main gate.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
To our custom?
Yes. Now, there's a whole thing. In fact, there's a whole big tshuva in Tzemach Tzedek, but not only in Tzemach Tzedek, other poskim also write this. The problem with that is, there's a din in the Torah, there's a pasuk that says, Leis is goydadu. Leis is goydadu means you should not rip up your skin when somebody dies, like the goyim used to do, make a bald spot. But in Gemara it comes out, Leis is goydadu means don't make separate groups. which means everybody should be united. Simply, this is not the way the Tzemach Tzedek learns in other poskim, but that means Leisis guided to don't make different groups, this, and that. You got to unite. So some poskim want to say it means that if you're in a shul, you have to daven the nusach of the shul. That's what a lot of people learn to. But it says the Tzemach Tzedek has a whole tshuva about this, and other poskim also hold, and this is definitely the way we hold, that davening a different nusach in a shul that davens a different nusach is not a problem. This is great.
By yourself, quiet.
It's not a problem at all. Okay? That's what you read. The Nitzivim, a lot of poskim write that. Now, the difference is like this. I'll give you an example. What happens if a guy who's a Svardik, let's say, is a chazan for the Yomad? So in the quiet Shmoneh Esrei, he davens his text. In the loud Shmoneh Esrei, in the repetition, he davens what the community davens, because he's representing the community. You can't have a guy in a Chabad or Ashkenaz shul daven Svardi, or the opposite. You can't do that, because you need to daven what the shul daven. But in the private Shmoneh Esrei, then you do your thing, and then the repetition you do. You find it, by the way, this is another example that's very common. In Eretz Yisrael, they start saying V'sayim Talamotor much before we do. They begin on the 7th of Cheshvan. We begin December 5th or 6th, right? So now, in Eretz Yisrael, let's say a guy comes from Eretz Yisrael to America, after they already started saying V'sayim Talamotor, but in America, we're not saying V'sayim Talamotor yet. They come in mid-November. So what do? So it says in Poskim, and this is the halacha, that in the quiet Shmoneh Esrei they say V'sayim Talamotor, because that's what they're saying. But when they daven as chazan, they don't say V'sayim Talamotor, they say V'sayim Bracha, based on what we just learned.